Plant you don't find any place else in the world unless it's been, you know, taken over there. The only thing that's even close to it is a prickly plant in India. But as far as cactus is concerned, that's an American plant. Now, you think of this one as being southwest, you know, only, but you can find it as far as the Appalachian Mountains and as far as Canada.
All cactus is American?
All cactus.
All cactus.
This one is prickly pear. Okay. And once you fillet it, take the outer skin and the spines and stuff off, it makes an excellent poultice just by itself. You don't have to do anything to it. You just take it and you put it right on the problem, and it draws out all that bad blood and stuff.
It draws out slivers too.
Draws out slivers too. Yeah. Yeah. You want to make sure you have the slivers that are there out before you do that. The flower can be made into a tea and it's anti-inflammatory. You need to make sure that when you're dealing with this type of a plant that you strain through like real fine cloth, because not only do you have the prickles, you got the little hairs too.
They're very picky.
Yeah, you want to get rid of those. This is also edible, and so again, you're going to want to make sure those little hairs are gone because they kind of choke up in your throat. What else about this particular plant? You can take it and juice it, but it comes out to be kind of a sludge, you know, but it's still edible. Now it makes, after the flower, it makes a little fruit.
Excellent.
That's tasty.
Very tasty.
Especially if you make a syrup or jam or something out of it. It's really good.
Ice cream.
In Middle Eastern, actually, the Arabic people, they make ice cream out of it. But very careful the way you're cutting it. It's a special way you have to cut it.
Now, like I said, besides the spines here, you get these little hairs that are on the fruit. And one of the things that Michael Moore says that you can do, that's not the Michael Moore that did the movie, you know, this is Michael Moore that's the herbalist. He said you just go ahead and skewer it and put it over a flame and just singe off those little hairs, and then you seem to be okay. And you get the nice little kind of roasted flavor to them. Did we get the last person? Artemisia tridentata here, which again is typically a plant here in this area. It's called tridentata because it's got 3 lobes, trident. So, this is our local sagebrush. It has an astringency to it, so anything that's using astringent or for, you know, you can use it for tightening up tissue for, you know, bruises and cuts and things, you know. Stopping diarrhea. They use it a lot in ceremonial, you know, they burn it, you know, and spiritual aspect of it. Then we've got wild lettuce over here. Are you all familiar with wild lettuce? Let's make sure it is wild lettuce. Yeah, it is.
Not a lot.
The way you tell wild lettuce from the other ones that are like sow thistle is it right on the midrib. Has a row of spines.
Wow.
Sow thistle doesn't. Take a look at that.
It's rose colored.
Pardon?
Did you just say it was rose colored?
No, it has a row of fine hair spines along the midrib.
Is that the ventral or dorsal?
Sow thistle, which doesn't.
Ventral or dorsal?
Pardon?
Ventral or dorsal?
Ventral or dorsal?
Oh, the dorsal.
Dorsal.
Bottom, right?
Dorsal is top.
Tarsal's top. Okay,
Bottom.
it's the bottom. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I remember that's the last one that does the Indus.
Let's go. I guess what can we say about this? What kind of stem is this?
That's a trunk.
Yeah, it's a trunk, yeah.
Trunk.
And what kind of leaf pattern do we have?
Palmate.
Okay, it's palmate, simple. And what kind of fruit is it? They call them the king? Yeah, you're right. Okay.
In Ohio.
What order does this go into?
These are so cool.
They'll grow just about any place. They're tough.
No, tricked you. The gymnosperm.
Yes, we got it wrong on the test.
Okay, Ginkgo biloba because it's got the 2 lobes. Okay.
But this isn't a needle-like
This is kind of a flat needle. One of the most popular herbs in the field right now, which is interesting because it wasn't from folklore tradition that they got the usages of ginkgo. See, most herbs, they look at the folklore and then they do some scientific experiment with it and see if that backs up what the folklore said. Well, the Chinese did use this one, but they used it for what? Stomach complaints. What do we use it for?
brain.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's like it doesn't even correlate. This was one. This is one of they use the nut. Yeah. So this is one of the few examples of the scientific process finding out what the value is, and you get it from folklore. They do a 50-to-1 extraction, or concentration, I should say. Basically, it takes 50 pounds of leaves to make 1 pound of extract. So you wonder, what the heck are they throwing away? Well, they're throwing away.
You think the Chinese did that a few thousand?
No, they used the nuts.
Used the nuts more than the leaves back then? Wow.
And so, basically, you're only throwing away the fiber. Because you make the extraction, and then with that liquid extraction, you take all the water out, and you got a 50-to-1 extraction. So they take it down to a pound. Yeah. Oh yeah, it is deciduous. Gymnosperms it's classified with gymnosperms. I don't know why, but it is. Yeah, but I believe some gymnosperms can, because this one obviously can.
But it's not on our chart.
Yeah.
Or the
Well, this isn't even an evergreen.
This is evergreen and deciduous.
And deciduous?
Not on the gymnosperms, on the angiosperms. It's just evergreen.
David, do you know if the female tree is illegal in Utah?
Okay.
In Ohio,
here's an
they
interesting
chop
thing
them all
about
down.
male and female trees. You only want to plant a male tree. Female trees get a showy, very stinky flower. And so when they put them for decor, like this is county property. So when they do that, they put male trees in so they don't have that problem with the flowers.
How do you tell?
Pardon?
When they're small.
They do it genetically. Okay? And so, interesting thing about ginkgo is if you plant a male tree and it decides it needs to be propagated, it turns into a female.
Yeah.
They changed.
Our local town planted the whole town in ginkgos, and about every 3rd tree turned into a female. And they come this last year, there's about 20-year-old trees. They were as tall as the buildings. They come in and dug every one of them out, killed every one of them.
These are very ancient trees. They mainly were wiped out with the Ice Age, except for in China. So any trees that come, genetically you can trace them back to China, because all the other ones were wiped out. Yeah.
I have a question from yesterday
Okay.
that I didn't get to ask Dr.
Zero, everything was destroyed, except this ginkgo tree. It survived, and it's still alive today.
So do you think you could use it for chelating radiation then?
You would think you could use it for almost anything.
Yeah.
They did use it for that in Chernobyl. This was my thesis.
Yeah, because I heard that they did spirulina for Chernobyl, but not ginkgo.
Well, and I'd heard what they used for Chernobyl was pectin and melissa.
Really?
But they did use this and it did reverse the radiation damage from Chernobyl.
That's great to know.
There's a barley company that sends a lot of barley.
I think we're
to
going to
Snowball every
post
year as a
her.
free gift.
Did you get it turned
Use
into
the
the
reverse
electronic
cancers.
format?
I put it on. I mean, I don't know if it's Word. I saved it on.
We'll see if we can get it on electronic format. You can all read it, you know, on the our internet sites. Oh, this one isn't that old. This one's a fairly young one. It's not very big.
What's its potential?
They get really big.
Yeah.
I don't know how old it is. We could chop it down and look at rings.
Do you know how they would grow in the wetter areas like west of Ogden?
Pardon?
Do you know how they would grow in the soils and high water table?
I'm not sure. I'm really not.
Whoops.
This is
Leaflets.
a leaf.
Okay.
And these are leaflets. It's palmate. So at one time it was probably one great big leaf, and then because the climate and stuff decided to separate out into leaflets, but it's still, this is a leaf. And so this is horse chestnut, and we use the seed with the horse chestnut for varicose veins. It's specific for varicose veins. And there's a controversy amongst herbalists, you know, as to the toxicity of the seeds. Some are saying there's no toxicity, and some are saying there's toxic, you know. So we took the middle ground and we made a formula for external application with the horse chestnut seed and arnica and things like that. And then we also made an internal one for varicose veins. So we actually made 2 formulas just to make sure there was no problem. You don't want to take arnica internally anyway, you know. So the herbs that we have in the external one work very nicely, but we suggest them for external.
That's my use for the external.
Okay, great. Let's go. There's only one little flower, a couple of flowers over here. Okay. How many petals? So it's in the rose family. Okay, and the thorns. I think it's pretty obvious it's rose. This is your wild rose. It was used, the flowers, as a eye wash. The Indians made a tea out of it and washed their eyes with it. It's not going to take care of really any infections, but it's going to help with astringency and that type of situation.
What part of the plant did they use?
The flowers.
Was it just flowers?
Now the hips, of course, are your best source of vitamin C. You know, the flavonoids. And they're if you're venturesome, there should be some hips here someplace. Right here. Now, your hips, after they lose the flower, are going to be a greenish color, then kind of a goldish color. And then after a frost, they turn this color. Dark red.
Is that what you want?
That's what you want, yeah.
In the fall, right?
Yeah.
Now this, in the fall. Now this is summer, so this has been on the plant there for quite a while. But what you do is you just split that open and take out all the seeds and stuff, and you take out all the hairy substance inside like that, and then you've got fruit leather here. And it's really tasty. So like I said, if any of you are venturesome,
What about
want
our,
to get into those spines, you know, then you can see what it tastes like.
does it have to be a wild rose? What about the roses?
Yeah, the roses work too. Just don't spray them.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one. How many leaves do I have here? 3. There's 3 leaves here. 1, 2, 3. Compound pinnate. Right? And so this is another one that's on our 100 herb list. Which one do you think it is?
Walnut.
Slippery elm?
Walnut.
Who said walnut?
That's
You're
like
right.
walnut.
Black walnut.
So do you think it's a black walnut? How do you know? No.
To be English.
Other walnuts have compound pinnate leaves here.
What's in walnut family?
It's in walnut. Billy, how do you know if it's black walnut?
The bark of the tree.
Like it's been damaged.
How do you know from the bark?
Bark of the trees. Bark and it's rough, very rough.
Like it's been broken down or something.
You can look around the ground and see if you can find some nuts from last year. Or you can take your knife and cut it. Until you get down to the pit. Right there, see? And it's chambered. So the black walnut has the chambered pit.
Chambered.
But the other walnut trees do not have that?
Not chambered. They have it, but they don't
That
have
means
the
it's
chambered.
hollow?
The chambered means it's got little divisions.
Okay.
Little divisions in the chamber, see?
Oh, cool.
Like so your old
So
step ladder.
You identify a walnut tree by this leaf.
The leaf, the bark, and you know the like English walnut has great big fat
Now
leaves.
the olive tree has a different, is similar,
Total.
is that a similar leaf?
No, it's different and thick and hard.
I don't think it's got. It doesn't have a pinnate, does it? Compound pinnate.
They're more little individual leaves.
Yeah.
They're hard. They're very tough.
Entire, simple.
Yeah. You go make a tea out of them. It takes
Okay, let's
a day and a half to get a
go
good
on.
tea out of the olive leaf. It's very tough.
This one? Oh, it's not a water hemlock, doesn't it have a...
And this one here.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
So look at them, and then on that one up here, some of you already did that up there, but crush the flowers and smell it.
Oh, it's a fern.
Wood.
Theater popcorn?
Yeah, popcorn. That's. I remember.
Theater popcorn.
Yeah.
Nettle corn.
Except they box up for a couple of weeks.
It does smell like popcorn.
It smells like theater popcorn. Have you smelled it?
I thought it stunk.
Theater popcorn.
Oh, it does. Does it? It does have that kind of buttery.
Everybody get a smell?
Butter.
Buttery?
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, it does.
So did you figure out what that other one was?
No, I'm lost on that.
Which one? What about this one?
They look really similar.
That one.
Yeah, this is hound's tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cyanoglossom officinale. Member of the Boraginaceae family. It's not an annual, it's not a perennial, what is it?
I
It's a
am.
biennial, yeah. So it takes 2 years to go through its growing process. So that's the first year.
Oh,
This is the second year.
Let me go back and look
that's what confused
Step
me.
on that one. That's
This is
the second year, and that's the first year.
That's the first year. That yeah.
Same thing we use Comfrey for.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
self-proliferate.
Again, it does have pyrrolizine and alkaloids in it, which kill horses.
Hmm.
Doesn't seem to kill people, but it seems to kill horses.
Isn't this one of the little buds erasers that Dr. Christian was talking
Wonder
about?
what? Yeah.
Little eraser?
Absolutely. So you get into stinging nettle, which we'll see in a little while, and you just crush these up and put it on. It neutralizes it immediately.
Mullen does the same thing, doesn't it?
Mullen does the same thing. Comfrey does the same thing. This one does it even better.
Yeah. It's
We
easy,
tried.
a lot easier to find too.
Didn't
Tried it
say,
on one, tried it on the
Didn't
other.
he say like plantain, comfrey,
Anti-inflammatory.
plantain, comfrey, hound's tongue, and...
So any rate, we had this guy come see us, Lou Barker. He was the ranch hand for the Double R. His horses were dying, and he took a sample of the feed to Kay Thorin, who you saw in the videos, and she found that there was hound's tongue in the feed. And any vet will tell you that horses eat hound's tongue, horses die as night follows day. And it was the veno-occlusive disease, you know. So, which is a liver problem, and so I'm not knowing that much about things. He came to me and said, well, if it's a liver problem, we'll give it liver herbs, you know. And since it's a much bigger entity than we are, we'll give it a lot of herbs, you know. So I told him, this large amount of the barberry algae formula, the liver gallbladder formula, and large amounts of milk thistle. Well, the Redford group didn't want to pay for this, so he had to pay it out of his own pocket, and he wasn't making that much money. So he couldn't afford the milk thistle. He was able to afford the liver gallbladder formula. So he was able to give each horse an ounce of the bulk formula daily. He just took their feed and mixed some molasses and the powder together, and just horses ate it down just fine. And he stuck one milk thistle capsule in, and the horses ate it down.
You just did that once a day?
And all the horses that got the herbs survived.
Great.
And the one horse that didn't get the herbs died. So anyway, he thought this was really great. Is there somebody coming up? Someone coming up?
I don't know. That
Sounds like a motor.
Sounds like one.
Oh, okay.
might be the tractor down there on the
Okay.
property.
So at any rate, he told his neighbor, who had bought the same hay, to warn him that the problem was. You know, told him what the condition was and who'd seen about it and stuff, you know. Said, and if you want to save your horses, you know, use these herbs. Nah, I'm not using any herbs. He lost every one of his horses. So, now we have a contradiction here. Horses eat hound's tongue, horses die, like night follows day. These horses didn't die. What's the difference? Yeah. Yeah. The problem is these horses were consorting with vets. You know, they were taking their drugs and taking their antibiotics and taking their vaccines and stuff, you know. So their livers were all clogged up. The P450 enzyme system was all used up with the drugs and things, and so didn't have the capability of taking this alkaloid that's in the hound's tongue, breaking it down and utilizing it. Because you see, the alkaloids that are in these plants have no ill effect whatsoever on the body. It's when the liver starts to break them down and can't finish it. So the metabolites of these alkaloids are small enough that they get into the small venous structure of the liver and clog it and cause veno-occlusive disease. So what do? You bring the P450 enzyme system back up and stuff, you get the liver functioning properly, it can fully break down the alkaloids, and then they don't die. So horses don't die from taking hound's tongue. Horses die from consorting with vets.
And in our area, Amish and people that raise goats and different things, we plant comfrey in with the animals so they can use it when they need. Would this be a similar type thing? Would an animal ever take a piece of that out here if it needed it, or is it something the horse will totally avoid? Or
horses eat it, but then again, they're not wild. And I've never observed wild horses to see if they'll eat it or not. You know, most horses have a liver problem, and wild horses tend to have a liver problem in that they don't have enough feed. You know. So at any rate, we use it the same way. And comfrey, of course, has been used by every type of animal you can think of: elephants and giraffes and sheep and hogs and horses, and no one's ever had a problem. They cut the animals open, there's no liver problem. You know.
So, you know how you say that in the comfrey not to use the leaves until the second year? Don't you say that? After the second year?
Well, comfrey is a perennial, so which year is the second year?
Oh, I don't know, but my question was more about if the alkaloids go up from the roots through the stems, leaves, and the flowers, and then they leave the plant, right? Isn't that what he said yesterday?
Well, I know that you don't want to gather plants with alkaloids after a rainstorm because they'll wash off into the soil. It's a lot of them. So, yeah.
No, is the hound's tooth as mucilage as...
Hound's tongue?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's mucilaginous like comfrey is.
As much as... And is it just specific toward the western portion of the United States? Or do you think
no, actually, I believe it was introduced from Europe. Well, from Europe. It came from
Russia. So does hound's tongue too, does it originate from there also?
Oh, well, it just said Europe when I was reading. And then comfrey, you know, they had the variety from Russia, and the comfrey that's in the real old herbals, you know, back Hippocrates' time, you know, They talk about a comfrey plant that's about this big. And so in England, they hybridized the Russian and the little one and got, I think, what we got now. That's the story I heard. I'm not sure if that's
Yeah,
correct.
there seems to be a big contention about the whole comfrey issue as to which one is used specifically without the pyrrolizidine.
They all have pyrrolizidine alkaloids.
Because I was at the American Herbalist Guild last fall, and Susan Reed and Roy Upton kind of got into it a little bit over which comfrey was going to be least harmful to use.
Well, I didn't know there was any question.
Yeah, there is now.
Uplandica is the one that you don't use. That's traditionally been just used as a fertilizer.
How do you know which one is which?
Yeah, they were saying the color of the flower, the yellow flowered comfrey is the comfrey to use internally because it's less
Purple.
We use
Who said
purple.
yellow?
I know, it was funny watching these two herbalists banging.
Who said yellow? Was it Roy
I
or?
think it was Susan Reed.
I think she fried her brain a little. I'm sorry.
I say we ate a lot of purple.
Roy, I'd go with what Roy said, you know, but not really. I'd go with purple is what we've always used. You know.
Do you think once the comfrey's dried, powdered in a capsule, do you think there's any problem taking it? I mean, we've taken it for years. You know,
No, you don't understand. There's no problem with comfrey.
Yeah.
The problem is people that consort with doctors. If you stay away from doctors, you have no problem with comfrey. Well, if you stay away from doctors and pushers,
And alcohol.
and alcohol, absolutely. Stay away from alcohol, stay away from things that damage your liver, and you don't have a problem with comfrey. Or Hounds. Or any, there's so many pyrrolizidine alkaloids out there. Try the biggest family in the universe, Compositae.
And tomatoes, they said, have more than comfrey.
I don't know about tomatoes, but
What did
you know,
say
even
that?
echinacea has pyrrolizidine alkaloids. Nobody's talking about
potatoes.
that.
Yeah, it was really the person
Well,
instead of
and
the
then,
plant.
yeah, there's no problem with chaparral. The problem
No,
was
James
someone
Duke-
taking a blood purifier before they cleansed their liver.
Exactly.
James Duke said that tomatoes and potatoes have more alkaloids than comfrey.
Well, alkaloids, not pyrrolizidine alkaloids. They have the
No, I
solanine.
think he was comparing them to comfrey in his book.
Pyrrolizidine alkaloids?
Yeah, he said they have more.
Yeah, he doesn't want you to
Pyrrolizidine
think
alkaloid,
comfrey.
you know,
No,
that's a
funny about
collective
that, but
term
it's
anyway of a lot of
I'll
different
look up in
alkaloids.
his book. I just remember he said that tomatoes and potatoes have more.
Well, but basically, if you're looking at a definition, pyrrolizidine
He said all
alkaloids
of the
would be something
nightshades.
that would damage the liver.
Yeah.
And the thing is that all these plants have, you know, a certain amount of pyrrolizidine alkaloids, but then they have hepatoprotectives. So they got hundreds of thousands of parts per million of hepatoprotectives and a couple of parts per million of hepatotoxins. And why do the plants make those?
Balance
To
it.
protect themselves from microorganisms.
Yep.
So higher species, oh, here comes some dust. So to protect themselves, I believe they produce those. Also, I believe they're very beneficial. What, when you break a leg, what becomes the weakest part of the body? Okay, so you take comfrey that's got the pyrrolizidine alkaloids in, where do you think those alkaloids are going to go? It's the weakest part of the body.
Yeah.
They're going to bypass the liver and go right to the break.
I broke some of these ribs last Tuesday, and you can bet I've been taking a lot of comfrey this week. The same day I broke the ribs, I took a whole bottle of the BF&C with the original comfrey.
Okay, you see the little white flower just predominantly through here? That's a mountain chickweed. It's not stellaria, but it's I can't remember the Latin name right now, but it's close.
Does it do the same thing
Does
as...
the same thing. Chickweed.
Interesting.
Emollient.
What do you call that edge?
Stellaria
on the
media.
What would you call that? For your,
Pardon?
that kind of edge on the top. Does that have a certain name?
Stellaria
Dentate or something.
Yeah, it looks a little
Right.
different, doesn't it?
Exactly.
There's 5 petals of mono. Does that make you look too? You have to look at the leaves and
No, the monocots are the 3 and 3.
okay, the dicot.
So it'd be dicot.
Just not used to seeing chickweed with white flower. It's funny.
So would it always be dicot, or would you need to look at the root too? And
You can look at the leaf structure, the
make
root.
sure.
It has parallel veins.
And you just count the petals, and so you know right off the bat. Okay,
Flowers.
yeah. It's a member of the pea family. It's probably a, I'm not sure. It's a member of the pea family.
Okay. I see it growing everywhere where I live.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of that.
I'm not sure which one, but it's that family. Let's go across the road here. Oh, the predominant plant flora here is bracken fern.
Yeah.
Bracken.
There's a mullen coming over there, isn't it?
How do you identify the male fern?
Pardon?
How do you identify the male fern? Because all ferns look the same to me.
Actually, this one's branched where the male fern isn't.
These branches coming out where the male fern is. Thing like this.
So if you look real close, you can see a lot of differences. Okay, let's go across the road here. See if I can still find it without flower.
Oops.
This bracken fern wasn't even up last week.
It grows fast.
As we go looking for this other one, just notice the yarrow growing all through here.
Okay. Yeah, the yarrow is still very short, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ours has been in full bloom for probably, 2 weeks now.
Oh, the yarrow out here seems to have a much finer foliage than the stuff in the middle.
Yeah.
Boy, those are fibrous.
If you can't identify the plant,
Oh, it's Valerian.
smell the root. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, I can smell it from here. Oh, yeah, I can smell it over here.
Actually, it stinks more after it's dried and been sitting a long time. This smells actually really good.
It almost has a patchouli kind of smell.
It doesn't smell like
That's Valerian.
the glad Valerian.
And this is when it's the best. It's when it's in the fresh form here. You're going to get more of the relaxing quality to it. The stinkier it gets, the more stimulating it becomes.
Okay.
Really?
So that's why it's good to make Valerian from a fresh root extract. Make an extract with a fresh root.
You gotta be kidding!
About like this. You can see it all through here. It's just, it was flowered really well last week. In fact, the flora has changed in 1 week. There was no bracken fern last week. And look, and as the summer progresses, it'll be nothing but bracken fern. So we have like 2 floras here. We've got the flora that was here last week, and then we got bracken fern that's going to take over for the summer. This is most likely going to be. It doesn't have the flower on it, so I'm not sure. But I think it's when it gets that head, it's going to have this it's a composite head.
Reminds me of purple coneflower.
Yeah, it's like the purple coneflower, but it doesn't have any ray flowers. It's just got the disc flowers.
The flower smells very good.
What was the name of this? If it comes to me, I'll complain.
Oh, that was Valerian. Yes. Are there more than these?
But there's a that's the bracken fern again. And these are the fronds that people can eat. It's edible. After it gets older, then they say it's toxic. You know.
Can you eat this right now?
Yeah.
You can boil it.
If you die.
We know first aid if it's...
Yeah.
Most of the time, just make sure
Yeah.
So why does it curl up like that?
No, it doesn't curl up. It's going to uncurl.
It's going to uncurl.
Scorpioid. 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 Did everyone see
Now
the
see,
Valerian?
this isn't the
Yeah,
cut,
I
are
didn't
they?
see that.
Smell the root. This is what
But
he
the
does.
ferns, where are they? Ferns are...
Ferns.
They're
It's
in
got-
their own category.
I'm sorry, I should have
Yeah,
warned you.
they're in their own category.
Oh yeah.
Let me get rid of
And
this.
they don't have seeds at all. What they have is spores. They drop spores. That's the one that was asked before. It's a member of the pea family, but I'm not sure which one.
You recognize that somehow.
The leaf structure and the little curly things that hold on.
Feel the stem square like
Just like the peas in your
Take
garden.
that home plant, it's got little sprouts on it. I got a big patch of it at home.
Do you?
I've never used it for anything.
Well, you know,
like it,
all
it
mints
attracts
have square
butterflies.
stems.
Mine
They're
goes to about
all
8
square
feet.
stem.
Yeah.
And I can sit underneath it and watch the
Butterflies.
swallowtails and the monarchs coming in and having battles over Valerian flowers.
Destruction. I have three
It can
cats,
either
though,
be
that like to
camas
lay in my
or
cabinet.
Death chemist.
Oh, death
yeah, death camas.
Oh, jeez.
Or what's the other one?
I got it on tail.
But they're monocots, of course. It's edible.
Calamus? No, that's something different. I've got a club flower.
Yeah, my brains.
Yeah, it's kind of weather-beaten and dusty.
It's amazing how many master herbal students don't know what a dandelion is.
Oh my gosh.
2/3 of my yard is dandelions.
You know that one.
Yeah, and then right next to it we got the Capsula bursa, which is the shepherd's purse.
Will these leaves do? I've never.
It's so delicate, isn't it?
Do they smell?
That way it looks a lot like
So tell me, how do you identify a dandelion? Not just because it's got a yellow flower, because you know we've had herbalists come in here and
taproot.
That you can't dig up all of it.
The white latex that comes out when the leaf and the stem is the root of rose.
Yeah, that's what the shepherds used to carry purses.
Another door that.
the way I tell dandelion is it's not branched. You never get branching in dandelion. And then the flower stem here is hollow, and it comes down from the ground. You know? So just because it's got a yellow flower and it turns into a white umbrella thing, you know, it doesn't make it a dandelion.
Sometimes that wild lettuce leaf can look like the dandelion. Just
Oh yeah.
Except it's branched.
branched, right, and it comes up.
So dandelion's never branched. And all of these go into the ground. None of them come out of another stem. Just one stem coming out of the ground. Generally it's between the leaves and stuff. So there's a whole bunch of dandelion plants there, aren't there?
Right.
And then like I said, you recognize the mustard family here. And it's dusty, so I'm not going to eat it. But at any rate, they're all edible. All the mustard. And they make a variety, you know, for when you're eating plants. We did a survival trek just to eating
The what now?
plants.
Ants? Yep. Ah, they're good
Eating
medicine.
plants. We didn't kill any little animals or anything, you know, we just ate plants. And I'll tell you, you have to eat a big volume of these wild plants to get any calories whatsoever. You may be getting your minerals and vitamins, but you just can't get any calories. On which? You can get a whole plant, you know.
Big one.
Is it yellow dock or burdock?
Like a dandelion.
It's a
Oh,
dandelion.
that's a dandelion. I think they
See, sometimes you just can't tell right off the bat. More shepherd's purse through here. There's a nice sample over there. Then we actually have a dandelion with...
There are bees. There's your yellow dock there, I think.
Yeah,
right there.
So in case you don't know, so you don't get into it, this is the stinging nettle here.
Mm-hmm.
Yours is lighter green than ours.
Yeah, a little different color.
Oh, and you know, of course, the thistles here, when you're doing a survival thing, that's one of the most substantial things you eat. So what you do, any of the thistles are fine. What you do with the thistle is about this age, once it gets older than this, then it gets too woody. But you take and you cut off the leaves and the outside stems, all the prickles, and then the inside of that stalk is just like celery.
Wow.
Got ants again.
Isn't that terrible? The celery is the most substantive thing we could find.
Hopefully I don't taste good to them.
No, this is this one's it's from Europe. It's not a native, so we try to get it out. Yeah, all the thistles at that time are edible. And of course you got the yellow dot coming up here. Rumix.
Rumix crispus.
Crispus.
The root.
I remember that one because, you know, it's got kind of that reddish tinge to it.
Alterative.
It's got that reddish tinge to it, and so I figured if you go out in the sun without your swimsuit, you're going to get rumpus crispus. Rumix crispus, yeah, it's fairly close.
So what part of the stinging nettle is the needle?
The sting is on the top part. So you can actually pick the bottom part, you know.
We got the cure right here if somebody wants to try it.
Pick the bottom part because there's no sting on the bottom part, and you can eat it. Because your saliva neutralizes the formic
Anybody want to
acid.
experiment with the stinging nettles?
Yeah, light me up. It won't hurt you.
The top part of it is where you sting it, is on the stem and on the flowers and stuff, so just be careful.
Flowers grow out.
Yeah, I know. I've done my pants
And then it's itchy.
shirt and rub myself with plants.
Oh my.
Of course, we got some, is this south thistle or is it wild lettuce?
That's wild lettuce.
Yeah, Latuca cereola, because it's got that spine coming up the midrib.
Yeah.
What is that?
The big spine.
Latuca cereola, wild lettuce. Again, it's got the spine on the midrib.
Oh.
As south thistle does not have that.
Analgesic.
David, do you know
What
what
color
this
is this flower?
I tried to key this out last year and I could not find it in any
Is that
of
the
my-
goat's beard?
Is that what it is?
Oyster plant, Dusty Miller,
Oh, salsify?
Salsify,
Yeah,
it's got all those,
salsify.
got all those common names.
I think salsify is what a lot of them call it.
It is so funky looking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the principal tree we have up here are the scrub oak here. You see the
Yeah,
oak?
they're shiny.
Still got that definite oak leaf to it. So characteristic of oaks. It's not even native. This was brought in. Yeah, there's so much of it that people think that it's, you know, it's ubiquitous in the whole area. People think that it's native, and it was brought in, I believe, to make up for the bad conservation of letting sheep eat everything and stripping the hillside. So they brought this into and then it just got away. The problem with this is it's highly flammable. It's actually more flammable green than it is dry.
It looks like it has a lot of oil in it.
Let's get off. Oh, it's more flammable when it's green than when it's dry. And in fact, if you've got a hillside coming down here and you've got a highway in between, this gets so hot, burns so hot, and it's so flammable that it doesn't even have to jump the highway as far as the flame's concerned. The heat starts it on fire on the other side of it.
That's why it's the best in winter.
Yeah, that's why everyone tries to get rid of it, or at least around their cabins. Name of it, but it's edible.
That's helpful.
The purple one?
The monocot there. You know, like I said, it's not medicinal, so I don't really remember it, but it's an edible one. To warn you, I am not a botanist, but I've been on an herb walk with a botanist, the very best botanist in Utah, who wrote the book on Utah plants. And you'll ask him, what's this or what's that? And he'll go, I don't know. Because he doesn't. He'll key it out for you. you got a half hour per plant, you know. But as far as the ones they know, the ones they're interested in, and then they're not interested in them anymore. They already identified them, cataloged them, and now they're off to something else, you know. So I know the ones I use, and there's a lot of them I probably don't know. This one here is if you look real close, they're such little flowers, you'll see 4 petals. So it's a member of the Cruciferous family. Brassicaceae, I guess. Which one they use now. But at any rate, all members of this family are edible. And try it.
And identify
Eat the flower?
The petals, there's 4.
You got the road dust, so you got your minerals too.
It's in a cross.
You eating the flowers?
So Cruciferous. So eat the flowers. Try them. Everybody try it.
I think there's very few flowers that aren't edible.
So nice and spicy. So when you're making up a wild salad, throw a lot of these in to give it some taste.
Wow, it is spicy. It doesn't taste like it smells. It smells sweet, but it tastes.
No, it's pungent. It's pungent.
And what was that called?
Don't let me forget myself.
Yeah, right.
So what is that called?
They call it white top.
Found a funny broccoli
And I've keyed it out before, and I found out what the Latin name was. And you know what? I forgot because I don't use it. My daughter, I told her that it's edible, so she had all the kids in the neighborhood eating it. Parents are calling up, my kids are eating weeds, what are they supposed to do? Yeah, it's okay, it's a good one. And you all saw the mullein, of course.
Sounds like my Saturday test. I don't use it, so I forgot it. How far is the cabin from this area?
Well, you might be able to see it.
That'd be neat. Heard about it for all these years, and
I can't see it.
can't see it from here. See a green roof up there.
The green roof of the neighbor.
Neighbor.
Okay. Here's one here.
What we got there?
I'm pointing out one and looking at another one.
You got a half berry or a
Choke cherry.
Choke cherry.
Yeah, you just take these choke cherries off and eat them, they taste real good. No, they don't. They're really awful. But you add sugar to them and they make the best jam and syrup, yeah. Yeah, sucanut, of course, yeah. And honey makes a good syrup, yeah. Absolutely. So that's, what is that? Something virginica? What's that Latin name on that? Anybody know? Yeah.
Right there behind you.
I know the second part, virginica, but what is the first part of that?
It starts with a P.
What? No, the choke cherry.
It starts with a P. I can't remember the whole name.
Prunus.
Yeah.
It's just Prunus virginicus, yeah. Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, I keep telling my wife, you know, I've got so much information in my brain that I can't access it.
Hey, that's how I feel for the test on Saturday.
We'll use that. You can use that as an excuse.
You know, it's there, but the retrieval is getting more challenging.
This is what?
No.
Prunus
no, he's
virginica.
not.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. He's my age. He's affected them. But you know, get to use that.
Well, it's the same family.
That's a tall birch. Look how tall those birch are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't even see the bottom, so just think.
Smell it. Let's take some more, but pass it around.
You can
So it's
tell.
got a square stem. You know it's a mint. Well, you don't know it's mint because there are other plants that have mint.
Catnip.
But your leaves are opposite, not alternate.
Is there pennyroyal?
Generally.
Oh, pennyroyal.
As Dr. Orford would say, generally. So have y'all had a chance to smell it yet?
I got some 40-odd plants at home. Yeah, that's catnip.
Everybody smelled it? Who hasn't smelled it yet? Crush? No, you gotta crush. You gotta crush the leaf and smell it.
Just full contact herbalism, folks.
Like a wild spearmint of some sort?
It's on the 100 herb list.
Spearmint, peppermint, penny royal, or
Not peppermint. Don't smell like catnip.
So what do y'all think?
Let's smell it again.
Yeah, it's Nepeta cataria.
That's not what we... Don't have the same, doesn't have the same smell as our catnip at home.
It's a calmative.
It's a calmative for everybody but cats. It drives cats crazy. Oh, some of them. There's about, what is it, 20% of cats that don't get affected by catnip, but most cats, you know, just woohoo!
Each and every catnip ought to have a different name.
So tell me how you knew it was catnip. Not as strong a smell?
There's a
I know
stronger
catnip
smell.
by the look and then the smell.
It looks like it don't smell like
That's
it.
why I always, you know, rub it. You know, we used to do the master herbalist test, not only by the way you do it, but we also had the herbs out there in powder form. You had to taste them and smell them. You know, and we probably should go back to that, but so much bother and powders all over the place. And by the time you got to about the 20th powder, you know, your dead senses are dead anyway. But it would be good. It would be good on these plants to start learning them by smell and stuff too.
Yeah.
Mine's laying
What's the
down.
part you?
Part you.
What's the first part?
No leaves on it though.
No leaves on it.
Oh no, it's a flower.
That part dies back, then the flower part, then the bushy part comes. And then the next
Been keeping my eye out for that biscuit root. I haven't ran into it yet. See your horsetail. I just found out the other day that's female horsetail.
Hasn't got a flower yet.
Oh, there's horsetail.
Which one is it?
What? Horsetail?
Which horsetail is it? Equisetum which? No, this is the Arbenz.
This is what?
Oh, horsetail.
Equisetum Himalayan.
That's the first
No,
one.
no, no. Arbenz.
Sorry.
Okay, this is the one I wanted to show you. Just because I'm interested in food when you go out on survival treks. And this is one of the tastiest ones out there. You see the leaf tends to be entire, then right at the top is indentated. Looks like a military haircut.
Yes.
This is Serviceberry. Service, military haircut.
Some people call it Serviceberry.
Serviceberry.
Uh-huh.
It's spelled Serviceberry.
You lose weight when you go on your survival.
So it's like our local blueberry. And they taste good right off the tree. They're really good.
These little things?
Well, when it becomes a berry. Yeah, it just got out of the flower stage.
This is different.
Okay, now you notice the bottle brush.
Medicinally the same as the other custom Camaro. It could be the same thing. You could still get your silver from that.
Yep.
So this is the one they use for bottle brush, not the other one.
Pardon?
This is the one they called for bottle brush, not the other kind. The horsetail.
The one they... That's the problem with common names, you know. Was it bottle brush because they clean bottles out with it? That's the other one. Well, they might use this one for that. I don't know.
This is the same thing?
Yeah, these are all their Arbenz.
Good.
I like them better.
It's okay.
Okay. How many aspen trees do you see? The question is, how many aspen trees do you see?
A lot.
Oh, how about just right here?
Oh, they're all one.
Oh, he's going to say one. Yeah.
This is one. Because the aspen trees, they go take the runner underground and they put another tree up.
And we've got them in our front yard and they're just everywhere. Digging up aspens forever.
Hey, what's significant about aspen?
You know, is it a rhizome
Yeah,
type
it's got
effect
that. It's got that alkaloid-like willow does. You know. Willow's got the salicin. It's got one that's similar. And what do you make well, what do you do with salicin? It's pain reliever.
Pain reliever, anodyne.
But the thing is about salicin is you take it and you don't get like immediate effect, but you get an effect for like the rest of the day. You know. But when they take the salicin and make salicylic acid out of it and they put a seedling group to it, then you get quick relief for a shorter period of time.
So if you look at the root, you expect to see something like a rhizome?
Yeah, they just run under the ground.
But it's not a true rhizome, is it though?
No, I don't think so.
No. It's weird. It's terrible.
David, the other day we was in the mountain, we found a 6-inch long green snake, not as big as a pencil. You know what kind of snake that'd be? Never.
Anybody know what this is?
Space and rocket center.
Yeah, Mullen. Last year. Biennial.
The basket steps. Redstone, space and rocket center. Right.
Oh.